It's Thursday, and we're back for another edition of AMA. This time we've prepared, so it's going to be a lot smoother, I hope. And let's make sure our mics are working. Aaron's in the shop. Aaron, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Can we cut to Aaron? There we are. Aaron looks a little scary. This is his police lineup, right? All right. What are we going to do today, guys? What are we doing? Look at this. I got cards. I've got your questions. And if you're one of the people that I tag, Lucky Chen, Rachel Macy, Vincent Latag, Anna Maria Marcoux, Eric Peterson. Who else we got here? Anna Rowinski. And I'm sure I'm butchering everybody's name. I apologize in advance. And Gurpreet Danjal. I'm sure I messed that up. I'm going to be answering your question and anybody else that's tuning in. Plus, there's a special one that I'm going to be talking about. Chris Jones, who's kind of coming hard at me with his dispute that the whole pricing value thing doesn't make any sense to him, and we'll get to that too. And plus, we'll answer any of the questions that you have, and maybe we'll do like a little live call. Hello? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that too. We'll take your calls live on Facebook via Facebook Messenger. So when I prompt you guys to, call me on my Facebook profile. Okay, should we get the show going? Yep. We all good, guys? All right, let's go. All right, so let's open up the show with Lucky Chen. Lucky asks, how to get noticed as a potential designer without actively seeking customers? Well, let me just rephrase that question a little bit. I think he just wants to get attention from potential employers or freelance clients. So what do you have to do that? Aaron, what do you think he has to do? What does Lucky have to do to get work without actively seeking customers? I think when he says actively seeking, he's probably meaning cold calling or doing cold emails or something like that. And Lucky, if you're on right now, I'm going to turn my Facebook on. If you're on, ring me up on Facebook, okay? Call me right now, Lucky. I don't know what time zone you're in, but if you're tuning in, maybe you have this opportunity. And everybody else get ready to call me. Aaron, what do you think?
It sounds like he needs to put himself out there and say what he does. Some process stuff, maybe.
Some process stuff. Oh, okay. He has to get his work out into the world. Now, Aaron, I noticed something about you. I just need to point something out. First of all, you have a lot less hair, and you look a lot thinner. It's not just the lighting. It is thinner, and you're looking very vascular today. Just want to point that out. You've been hitting the gym? What are you doing? Why don't you show us a muscle or something? Show people a muscle. That's all right. He's looking good. Ladies, single? Are you single?
I'm single.
You single, ready to mingle?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, this is not a dating show. Let's get into it. How to get noticed as a potential designer without actively seeking customer. We've talked about this before, you guys. The way you're going to get a customer is you have to be found. You have to be findable. How are people going to find you right now? And the thing that I've mentioned many, many times already, and we'll do it again because maybe you're tuning in for the very first time. Instead of berating you, I'm going to say you have to be on platforms where people go to find designers. Now, if you're a graphic designer, a great place to be found is Instagram. Instagram is a great place for people who do things visually, okay? So start posting process. Document your work. Be a documentarian of your own creative process and share little bits of it. It's nice to see finished projects, but it's much better to onboard clients and share your process. And this is the perfect place to share process, not necessarily in your portfolio. Show sketches, show drawings, show your research, show your inspiration. What else can they show, Aaron? Maybe models or prototypes you've built? What do you think?
Ooh, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I was still trying to get all the...
Oh, the ladies chiming in right now? They're like...
Hey, Aaron, we gotta have you speak a little louder into the mic, please.
Okay.
There you go. Is that better?
Test it out.
Test. You have to say something, Aaron.
Yeah, testing. Does this sound better?
Ooh, that is distorted. Okay, Chris, let's flip back to you.
All right, so here I am. Let's come back to me. So you guys, the other way you can get noticed is to start putting your work up on Behance. We've talked about this many times before. You can also do it on Dribbble, but Behance is my preference. A lot of people go there, myself included, go there to find potential designers, illustrators, artists to work with, calligraphers, logo designers, identity designers. It doesn't matter what country you're in. To me, it doesn't. If you do good work and you show a consistent body of work, what's consistent? Maybe 3 to 5 pieces, something like that. Mark, is everything cool? 3 to 5 pieces, and you need to spend time presenting the work in a very professional way. Use beautiful mock-ups. And if you've done a drawing that was like really loose and grungy, redraw it. Make it really presentable. Think about each one of these things as a potential way to onboard a new client. All right. So Lucky, that's it for you. Let me go on to the next one. Let me see if anybody else is here. Okay. So Rachel Massey, if you're in the house, why don't you give me a call? She wants to know about how to qualify clients. What do you do to qualify your clients? Okay. And maybe we can open it up for anybody that wants to ask additional questions about what Lucky asked about how to be found, how to get noticed. If there's anybody that's asking a question based on that right now, feel free and Aaron will field your question. Anything there, Aaron?
So far, nothing on that topic.
Nothing on that topic. Should we give it a couple of seconds, or you still do look like a serial killer right now? The lighting on you.
Well, that's not my fault.
Like the usual suspects right now.
Well,
we need the lineup behind you. Okay. Are we monitoring both Facebook and YouTube, Aaron?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We're going to move on. So let's talk about how to qualify clients. I'm going to put this down because I want to talk with my hands. All right, here we go. You guys notice the lighting on the side, a little separation now. So I'm not like bleeding into the black. It's not just a floating head anymore. Okay, oh, here it is, Vincent Latag. Vincent Latag, since you're on, call me, Vincent. Call me right now. I'm going to text him right now.
Okay, we got a question here
Okay.
about what you were hoping someone would ask about.
Okay, go ahead. Who's it from?
Mark Malik.
Okay.
Malik. He says, my dream design company is holding a Friday bar tomorrow. So I guess they're meeting up at a bar somewhere.
Okay.
And he's thinking, what's the best way to make a good first impression?
His company is hosting a Friday bar?
The company he wants to work for.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And he has this opportunity to go there. So what should he do? Should he prepare anything? What should he say if he talks to someone?
Okay, I'm not the best person to ask about how to break the ice in a social gathering. That's really tough. My suggestion is go there with a friend, make it a little bit more comfortable for you, and try to have a real conversation with somebody. Try to find out what's going on in their lives. Don't go in there with the intent to sell something or to thrust a business card in somebody's hand. I don't personally like those kind of interactions. I would suggest genuinely asking people about what they do at what they do at the office, what their challenges are. Try to discover what their pain points are. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna move on because Vincent is on, and I'm gonna call him right now. So Vincent, here we go. Let's see if this works. I have Vincent's question here, so Vincent, you need to remember. Come on, Vincent. Vincent. Come on, Vincent, pick up the phone. Okay, Vincent doesn't want to pick up the phone. All right, we'll come back to Vincent later. All right.
Got some more questions here.
About the same topic?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Is Facebook ads to an article you write or a website a good idea?
That's not about what we just talked about.
Getting clients? Getting
Well,
discovered?
getting noticed?
Getting noticed?
Getting noticed? Yeah, that's like really aggressive now. We went from doing social media, doing content marketing, sharing our process, to straight up hitting advertising. I believe Facebook ads are a great way to generate interest towards an article you're building, possibly even go to your site. But I think the best thing you can use a Facebook ad for is to promote a valuable piece of content. Now, a lot of people think that if I send people to my site, they're going to buy. Just remember, guys, there's microtransactions that happen, little levels of escalating levels of commitment that people are going to make. So before they go and hire you, they want to get value from you first. They want to see your work. They're going to check your references. They want to see what clients you've worked with. So I want you to think about it in those terms. So if you created a valuable piece of content, maybe create an ad and send traffic there just so that people can learn about you, to know that you're genuine, that you're an expert, that you can actually provide value to them. I think that's a great way to have a real relationship with somebody. Okay, we've done that ourselves. The typography manual that we put out, first we created as PDF and then we turned it into an animation. I think we boosted that via Facebook just because we want people to know like we're good designers and we know how to animate as well. But the point of it all is to have them look at something that's not a commercial, not an ad. I'm not trying to sell you anything, so that a real relationship can begin. And matter of fact, today Design Taxi picked up our animation on their blog. They featured the typography manual on their blog. So you see how that works? And then they're going to send more eyeballs, more potential clients and designers towards our site, and that's what we want. Okay. So I tried to call Vincent, and Vincent won't pick up. Let's see who else is on here. I'm not seeing anybody else. Oh, hold on. Anna Marie, I'm live. So let me try and call her. Anna Maria Marcoux. Hopefully I said that right. It's ringing, guys. Oh, she's going to answer? Hello? Anna? Hi, Anna. Could you say something, please? Your camera's pointing at the ceiling? Hello? I think
crying?
Is she giggling? Are you giggling, I hope? She turned off her camera.
No crying on the show.
Anna.
Just hang on.
Anna, I'm going to call you up.
Call her back.
Call me back when you're ready, Anna. Aaron's saying get off the phone. All right. Call has ended.
So someone just threw us a donation and a question.
Okay. What's the question? And who's it from?
Jonathan Jerome.
Thank you, Jonathan Jerome.
And his question. I want a job at an agency like RGA where I can get really strong feedback on my work. Is this a good direction for a designer unsure of his focus?
That's like 4 questions in one. That's a complicated one. So he wants to work at RGA. So we assume that RGA is a great place to work at, that you're going to get really direct feedback on your work. I assume anywhere you go to work at where there's a infrastructure or some kind of hierarchy, that they're going to give you feedback. That's not a problem when working with a company. So I like that as an option. If you can get a job there, I think you're going to find out really quickly if that kind of work is going to be in your future or not. Because sometimes we have these ideas about what we want to do and we actually do it. Either we're not interested or the people who we're working with don't think we're good enough to do that work. Okay? So that's the best that I got for that. Hopefully that works for you. Let me try to call Anna again. Anna, come on, Anna. Let's try this again. All right, so we're going to move through these questions a little bit. I didn't even get to answer the question about that Rachel asked. Rachel Massey.
What was it?
About how to qualify clients.
Oh.
We're going to answer that. Come on, Anna. I don't think she wants to answer the phone now. I'm going to give it 2 more seconds, then we're hanging up.
I got some good questions here.
Okay, hold on to your questions.
Okay.
I want to answer the questions here first. We'll ping pong back and forth.
Yeah, I'm just building them up. So
build them up, Aaron.
Just let me know.
Build them up. Okay, here we go. Here's the next question. This is Rachel Massey, and I have already asked this question. Maybe you guys have had a chance to think about it, and maybe I'm going to prompt you guys right now. So here's our question, and then I want you to type in what you think the answer is, okay? And I'll give you a beat. Then I'll tell you what my answer is, and then we can compare notes and see if we're talking about the same things or not. So Rachel asked, I love to hear you talk about how to qualify clients as a business person, if at all. Okay, so yes, most definitely, we need to qualify potential clients. Potential clients. They're not clients until they hire you, okay? Now you guys go ahead and type in the answer right now. How do you qualify clients? What are you basing that on? Let's see, are any answers coming in? And just read them out. Either on Facebook or on YouTube, Aaron?
I'm looking.
Okay.
So far, it's just more questions not having.
Okay, guys, stop asking the questions. Answer my question. How do you qualify clients or potential
Value.
clients? Value. What does that mean?
Just value.
Okay. What else?
Questionnaire.
A questionnaire. So you're gonna ask them these kind of questions, like what's in the questionnaire though? You're answering a question with a question.
So on their budget.
Okay, so value, budget.
By experience.
By experience,
You'll just
what does that
sense
mean?
a bad client.
How do you know it's a bad client?
How strong their handshake is.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, I'm reading what they're saying. Someone who pays you for your work. Goals, experience.
Goals, experience. Okay.
Time, money, value.
Time, money, value. Okay,
Minimum
I've heard
level
money
of
a lot.
engagement.
Minimum level engagement. Who said that? Somebody's been watching our show.
Jacob Fremderman.
Jacob, good job on the minimum level engagement. You must be reading the Win Without Pitching manifesto or been watching our shows. Most absolutely. Okay.
Oh, someone asked, why do they want to work with you? Something you said, right?
Why do they want to work with you? Well,
you ask them that. Like,
what are they going to say for you to qualify them, though? That's the thing.
Okay.
What are you going to say?
We have tons more. I can read them off, or you can continue.
If you find a good one or not. Okay, read 2 more, 3 more. Go ahead.
budget, deadline, value, the relationship you have with them, market authority, presence, work history,
Okay.
if they have a good brief.
All right. Those are all pretty good answers, I think. Oh, Anna Marie, hold on. Don't call me right now. I'm about to answer something, and I'll call you right back, Anna Marie. Okay? Now, here's the thing. In the real world, we form friendships and relationships with people who have what? Who have common interests, shared values, and beliefs. So then you have to define what those beliefs and values are so that you can determine if somebody's a good fit for you. The first thing I want to say to you guys is this. Just because a client comes calling doesn't mean they're a good fit for you. You need to just understand that right out of the gate. So many of us operate under the scarcity mindset that as soon as a client calls, no matter what they say, no matter what they do, whatever their beliefs are, how crappy their products and services are, we're ready to jump. So we have to just realize that first. Not everybody calls you is a good fit for your business. Just like everybody that you meet isn't potentially your life partner. Just think about it in those terms, okay? So you're going to ask questions to determine if there's a good fit. For a lot of us, it's going to be about the budget, okay? So what is the budget that you want to work in? Now, for a company like ours, we know that a client needs to have somewhere in the neighborhood of $100,000 for us to do work with them. It's just because we have a big operation, there's lots of overhead, and we have to hit our monthly overhead number. And when we don't do that, we're going to lose money. So we know it's right around $100,000, okay? And you can scale up from there. So you just got to need to know that. So when I'm talking to a client, whether I'm in person or over the internet or any other form, video conferencing, telephone, I will ask them, before we go too deep into this, I don't want to waste your time. I want to make sure that we're fit for each other. How much money do you have for this initiative, for this logo, for this branding project, for this website redesign, for this marketing campaign? How much money do you have? And oftentimes they're going to say something like, I don't know, you're the expert, you tell me. And most of the times they do know. They almost always know, right? And they're reluctant to say because they think you're going to take advantage of them. So if they say we have $10,000, you might go for 12. So there's that reluctance, and that's totally okay. So what you do is you say, well, in my experience, for that kind of work, it's going to be between this price and that price. So you can say it's going to be between $5,000 to $10,000. And then you're going to get a feel for them. And they're going to say, okay, yeah, we do have that. So now we can continue the rest of the conversation. What's the rest of the conversation? Well, what are you looking for? Now that you have the right budget, they might come back and say, well, we need 45 versions of the logo, or we need to make this project last a year. And that's not going to work for you either. So now I'm considering time, schedule, resources, deliverables, number of revisions. I'm also looking at, am I interested in the work that they do, their product, their service, their app, whatever it is. So if they do something that, say, harm children, I might not be interested in doing that. And then I thank them for the time, and I possibly can recommend or refer them to a friend or somebody else that is interested in doing that. And I feel this way, okay? Just like in relationships. For every guy, there's a girl out there for you. For every girl, there's a guy out there for you. I'm just not the right person. I'm not judging you. I hope you don't judge me, and that's totally okay. Okay, now I'm going to jump back in. I'm going to call. Who is this? Is that you? Hi. Did you put on your pants? Is this Anna?
I'm sorry, this was so embarrassing.
That's all right. Let me turn on the volume here. Okay, I'm going to take this off so people... Hold on. First of all, I want to say hi. Hello. Can you see me? Okay, I'm going to show the people here. All right, guys? Okay, so I have your question here. So this is pretty cool when the technology works, you guys. All right, so here we go. I want to look at you now, okay? I have your question in front of me. So I'm going to read it for the people, okay? And then if you want to ask a follow-up question, we'll do this. So I'm going to put you back on. Hold on a second. Look at that. Come on, lock in. All right, here we go. You okay? You're fully clothed. All right. You're good.
I'm so happy to talk.
Well, I'm happy to see you too. Where are you from?
Originally Romania, but I live in Vienna.
Okay, she's originally from Romania, and now she lives in Vienna. I've been to Vienna once before. It's a beautiful, beautiful country. Okay, here we go. How do you handle a first meeting, online or in person, that you don't just come out of the gate and ask for something, right? That's kind of what you're asking for. Because you heard me talk about this. When people friend me on LinkedIn, when they ask like they want to sell me something right away. Hey, do you want a health spa package for you and your wife? Do you want to buy this book, or we can help you optimize your SEO and all these kind of things? I get really turned off by that personally, because you don't know me. We haven't even established any kind of rapport. So you know what I do? I delete those emails. And if they come again hard, I'm just going to block them and unfriend them instantly. Okay. So we're talking about how to ask for something that you want, right? Can you hear me okay? How do you ask for something that you want? You don't want to seem too pushy, and you don't want to sound weird or suspicious. Those are words that Anna said, right? Weird or suspicious there. You see that, you guys? Weird or suspicious. And it's okay. All right. So on one end of the spectrum is a really pushy salesperson. On the other end of the spectrum is a person who can never get the question out, and so they never get anything. It's like you stand in that room and there's that pretty girl or that handsome guy, and you've been eyeballing them the whole time, and you just think, oh, my heart skips a beat for you, and you never ask. Then that ugly person, that jerk, comes in and asks, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're going out on a date. It's because I couldn't ask. Okay, so somewhere in between these two is where you want to be. And I'm going to tell you a technique that I use, and it works quite well. All right? What you want to do is to break the ask down into little parts, little pieces, little levels of engagement. Okay? Let's just say you build websites. What do you do? Anna?
I'm an architect.
Oh, she's an architect. Okay. Ooh, this is a little bit trickier. Let's pretend you're not an architect. That's too hard. Okay. Okay, fine. No, we can do an architect. You residential or commercial? Both?
More commercial.
More commercial. Okay. So who might you meet that you're going to ask for a project? Who might you meet? Developer?
Yeah, it's difficult to say. Yeah, developers mostly.
Okay.
Developers.
Okay, here's how I want you to think about this, guys. We're going to take the will you hire me question, and we're going to break it into little chunks. Okay, so the end of it, you're going to say, will you hire me? That's cool. That's fine. So we're going to build up to that. So you're going to start with something like, I noticed that you develop a lot of projects, and are you ever looking for external help? You ever feel like you've got too much to do? So I'm trying to establish need. Is there a need for the things that I do?
I see.
You see? And then they're like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes we get really busy, and then you're like, oh, okay, there's opportunity here. Sometimes we get
So
really
you try to, yeah.
establish need first, okay? Because you want to help them solve a problem. So what you're doing is you're asking open-ended questions to surface a problem that you potentially can solve. So now we're building a bridge from cold, like I just met you, to I'm going to ask you for a job. Okay? Yeah, actually, yeah, we work with several architectural firms. And then the next question might be something like, are you 100% satisfied with them? Oh, wait, so you have a need for the work, and now you're opening it up for like, yeah, I can get in there. So when you say, are you 100% satisfied? Now, why did I phrase it that way? I phrased it that way because nobody's ever 100% satisfied. Nobody. It's like it's either they weren't responsive, the work didn't really meet the caliber I was hoping for, they were too expensive. You know what? I want change. They're getting really predictable with the work. You're like, wow. Okay, well, just to let you know, I'm an architect, and I would love the opportunity to show you my portfolio, to show you what our firm can do. Can we set up a meeting at some point? If you have 10, 15 minutes, I would love to do that. Yeah, okay, most people are going to say, yeah, cool. Here's a business card, you exchange it, and then you follow up right away. Okay?
This would be the online strategy or the live strategy?
They're all the same. They really are.
Okay.
You're going to you got to remember this, you guys. When you're working online, whether you're working with a human being in a room or online, you have to use the same kind of rules. You wouldn't just come out and blurt it out. I know the internet makes it so it could feel like you've got a lot more courage and you can just say things that you wouldn't normally say in real life, but I don't know, that's a turnoff for me. Right? So people who this is a word of warning for all you guys that hit me up. People don't realize this, but I get hundreds of comments and messages a day. And the first thing they ask me is, can you review my portfolio? Can you review my portfolio? Well, I could, but then there's like 100 more that I didn't review today, and I'm not going to. I just can't. I don't have the time. But had they just turned it around and said, I'm a big fan. I would like to help you in some kind of way. And here's what I do, and I see what you do. Would this be of interest to you? Establish some rapport. Like, give me value before you ask for things back, you know? It's like, don't come up to a stranger and say, can I borrow $20? It's kind of tough, right? There's a law of reciprocity. So the first move you should do is offer something genuinely and see what happens. Okay, I hope that helps you guys. Anna, I'm going to say goodbye. I know it's really late, and now you can go back to bed. I'm sorry for waking you up and fumbling around the phone, and
No,
it's all good?
I'm so honored.
Okay.
No way. Thank you so much.
All right. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, let's see. That worked out all right. That was pretty good. Aaron,
Yes.
Vincent Latag, he's here. Okay, Vincent Latag, I'm going to try to call you one more time, Vincent. Aaron, Vincent, are you ready? Let me ask him. Okay, ask the question, Aaron.
Just any question?
Well, anything you want. Yeah, open it up.
So someone asked about terminology. What are some basic business terminology to learn that designers can use to talk with their clients?
Okay, that's a really good question. Okay, Vincent, hang on there. I'm about to call you in 1 second. Get your microphone, your headset, get it all ready, get your lighting good, get your makeup on, put your clothes on, be ready. Okay, here we go. What are some basic business terms that you need to know to be able to be conversant with another business person, okay? I'm going to give you some of the terms, but first thing I'm going to do is tell you to do this. Go out and buy this book. It's called The 101 Things I Learned in Business School. 101 Things That I Learned in Business School. That'll give you kind of a really broad overview of some great business concepts, okay? This is how business works. Now, if you're not sure or you can't afford it, we've done a book review on the 101 Things That I Learned in Business School, where I pulled out a few nuggets, so you can look at that, okay? And plus, you can also go to my Facebook page, Chris Stowe, Business Designer, and I have some terms that I'm starting to define. Why is it important to understand these terms, you might ask? It's important because we need to speak the common language. So they're going to speak the language of business, and you're going to speak the language of design. It's almost like you're speaking French and they're speaking German, and you can't see eye to eye. So don't expect them to come to you, go to them. Okay, so learn some of the business terms. So you might learn the term ROI, which stands for return on investment, meaning if I pay or expend this amount of money, what kind of return will I get? So if I spend $100 on this marketing campaign, might that yield $300 in revenue for us? So that's a 300% ROI, return on investment. That's one term you need to know. What's another term you hear me say or Jose say? What's another business term?
RFP.
Okay, RFP. An RFP stands for request for proposal. This is different than a budget and a schedule. A lot of you guys produce estimates that have a budget, a schedule, and what deliverables are. An RFP has things in it like customer testimonials. They want to know how big your team is. They want the biography of all the team members, all the key players. They want to know about your process, and you're going to need to answer very specific things in the RFP. We sell a whole kit that teaches you how to respond to an RFP, so I'm not going to go too deep into that, but these are the beginnings of learning about business terms. You might learn about gross profit versus net profit, what revenue is, who the C-suite are. That's the CEO, the CRO, the CMO, the people in the C executive suite, okay? That's what that stands for. Things about alignment, like getting in alignment, like we see eye to eye.
Key stakeholders.
The stakeholders. Like, who are the stakeholders? Well, there are the investors, the marketing team, the technology officer, the CEO, the chief revenue officer. Those are stakeholders, and the employees and the customers are stakeholders. What else?
SOW.
SOW is called, that's short for scope of work. That's basically defining what the project looks like in terms of what their expectations are, scope of work. Are we doing 35?
Value.
Lifetime value? Shoot, I don't know what that means.
Overages.
Overages, pay-per-click, all these kind of, whatever. There's a bunch of
There's tons
terms.
of them,
There's
yeah.
too many terms. We're not going to sit here and do that. I'm going to call Vincent Latag right now, and so here we go. Hang in there, guys. We're calling Vincent. Vincent, pick up. He's connecting. Vincent, what's up, man? Hey, man. All right, he's on. He's on.
How are you?
Guys, here we go. I'm going to show you. Turn off your speaker, dude. You got a little delay action going. You got to turn off your speaker. Okay, one stream at a time,
This
all
guy's
right?
a cool voice.
He's got a cool voice. You
Yeah.
like his voice? Aaron likes your voice, man. All right, Vincent, you don't know what question you asked, but Guess what? I have your question, Vincent. See that? See that right there? Boom. Okay, here we go. All right. Here's what Vincent asked. Let's see if he has a good question. He's got a good voice. Let's see if his question's any good. He said, should I focus on local or international clients? He says local, they're mostly low budget, but possible for more clients. International, high budget, but there's a lot of competition on the market, right? Because you're working and competing against everybody. Now, both, he's stating, they request the same kind of work. All right. So Vincent, since I have you online, you can just talk to me here. It's almost like you've answered your own question. Should I work with local, low budget, but there's lots of low budget work? Do you want a lot of low budget work, Vincent?
Sorry.
Do you want a lot of low budget work?
Not sure really, but
Hey, where are you calling from?
I'm from Philippines.
Oh, he's from the Philippines. What time is it there right now?
7:30 a.m.
7:38 a.m.?
Yeah.
Oh, 7:30 a.m. Okay. He's in the Philippines. Look, I'm going to answer the question for you. This hits a lot of people who watch this show. You guys are in a different market, and the design or the local economy there is not great. They pay very little money because the cost of living is low, so wages are low, everything is low, and there's no way you can change that ecosystem. It's very difficult. And you may run into some really wealthy entrepreneurs who think on a global scale, and they see you as a local person that they like to work with and support the local economy. Every once in a while that happens, and I can see that happening. But it's not that often. You're much better off going after international clients from the US, from Australia, from the UK, from Canada. Okay? So a couple things you need to do. You need to appear as if you're based out of one of those countries. Okay? So that means your site should be in English. Okay? You can have an alternate site in your native language, but have it be English speaking, or you have to have English there, and you need to make sure that it's proper English and the grammar and the spelling is correct. Appear as if you're an international player on the market, and that's going to help you out a lot. Now, there is a lot more competition, but the reward is worth it, okay? Now, I love fishing, so I'm going to use a fishing metaphor for you, okay? I don't like going out on the water with tiny little hooks, with tiny little bait, and catching tiny little fish, because I'm out in the sun all day long, and I'm just baking out there, and it's no fun. I'd rather use a bigger hook, bigger bait, and target bigger fish. That doesn't mean I'll catch as many, but the one I catch will feed me for quite some time. And bigger fish, they're a lot smarter. They're a lot more picky about what they eat. And when you get them on the line, they fight a lot more. They're pulling, they're resisting. But when you get it in, when you get that sucker in the boat, it's really rewarding. There's some stupid comment online. Okay, Aaron, pull yourself together. Be professional here, Aaron. Okay, all right? So if your work isn't good enough, you need to start working on it so that it looks like everything else that you're seeing. Now, it's a lot easier to do this than you think. A lot of you guys see work from big global brands and from multinational companies, and you're like, wow, that's so good. I wish one day I could do work like that. Well, guess what? Reverse engineer the project. Reverse engineer it, okay? Literally, take some of their work, so take some of their comps and their design, and redo the whole thing exactly the way they did it. Learn from that, okay? There's this thing, I believe in this theory, right? Like your hand knows what your mind doesn't quite perceive just yet. So it'll start to learn, it'll start to make certain decisions, and hopefully that little light bulb goes off where you start to see like, oh, they chose that typeface, they chose those colors, they arranged it this way. Oh, look, it lines up to the grid in this way. Their choices in photography are different than yours. And sooner than later, you're going to learn how to do work just like them. All right? That's where the money's at. That's where the opportunities are. Be an international player, okay? That's all I got for you. I'm going to bounce. It was nice seeing you, okay? Do you have any follow-up questions for me?
I do have, actually. So,
Is it related to this question?
yeah.
All right, go ahead, ask away.
Hold this
I
phone
just
up to the
wanna
mic, please.
assume if I'm on the right track because
Go ahead.
I've been posting content on Dribble, Behance, and YouTube. I'm getting some emails from prospect clients. However, all of them have just low budget. So I would like to confirm if I'm on the right track, but my problem is that those clients just want just need low. They have low budget for their projects.
Okay.
So yeah,
Get to your question. What's your question, dude?
possibly. I wanna confirm if I'm on the right track of getting those big clients.
Okay.
International.
See what you get, Aaron? All right, here's your answer. You are attracting low-paying clients because I'm going to tell you this and it's going to hurt you. You ready?
Yeah.
Put your guard up, okay? It's going to hurt you because I'm going to hit you right now, okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. Because your work attracts low-paying clients, it means your work looks like it's low budget. Okay, when you work with international brands, let's say, for example, if I went to your Behance site right now and it looked like it was work done for Nike, for Coca-Cola, for Apple, low-budget clients are not going to call you because they're like, wow, he's really good. He must be expensive. So what you have to do is you have to learn how to build up the gate. The gate says, I do high-quality work for some of the biggest brands in the world. Now, you're not going to be able to do that right away, obviously, because if you had big-budget clients, you wouldn't be talking to me right now, right? So here's the deal. I told you, learn, copy, borrow, steal until you can figure it out. Start to change your work and then do a couple of spec projects. You could totally do spec projects. You can do something that's just self-initiated for Adidas. You can design an app if you want. You can design a couple of t-shirts. You can do whatever you want for any brand as long as you don't claim that you did it professionally. That's totally okay. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't know that was possible. It's like, well, you know what? Who told you it wasn't possible? You got to do everything you can to make it in this world without lying, cheating, and stealing. But other than that, you're good. All right? Make some spec projects for big brands. Make it look super sexy. Follow up with me online sometime when you actually have it and show it to me, okay? All right, I'm going to hang up on you right now, okay? Take care, man. Be well.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.
All right, let's see who else is online. Aaron, you got some questions?
Yeah, it's about that topic.
Okay, go ahead. Hit me.
So, this guy super chatted us here. So
okay, drop it on me.
he's
What's
an
up?
in-house. I don't feel like I have. So his portfolio and the work he's been doing.
Yep.
Is not that cool. Like, he's not proud of it, but he gets paid to do it.
Okay.
So he's wondering.
What's his name?
Oh no, I'm kind of mixing together like three questions.
Okay,
here.
it's fine.
But
Go ahead.
basically, it's about if you don't make really cool work, how can you get those good jobs? You know, how can you seem really high budget?
You can't.
You can't. You said at the end, do spec work, like your own thing.
Yeah.
That's the only way?
Yeah, well, let's look at it like this. What's a discount retail operation in the clothing business, right? What's a discount place?
For clothing?
Yeah.
Ross.
Okay, let's say that I walk into your operation, your place of business, which is your online presence, and it looks like Ross. And for those of you guys that are in America, you guys know what I'm talking about. Ross, Marshalls, it's kind of the same thing. JCPenney.
It's the worst.
That's enough.
Okay.
You don't have to add the social Okay. No offense to anybody that shops at Ross, Marshalls, or JCPenney. I used to shop there. My parents, we were poor at one point in time. It's fine. And Aaron's like,
I still shop.
I still shop there
all
too.
right.
That's why.
So now we're not going to offend everybody that's on the
Anyways,
internet. All right.
anyways.
So let's just say that's what your online presence looks like, where maybe the display isn't all together. That's the problem. And sizes are all over the place. And there's bins of unfolded clothing lying around, And then when you go say, like, there was one time in my life that I just desired 501 jeans from Levi's, and they would have this stamp on the back, and the stamp on the back label would say irregular. It means that it didn't pass the inspectors at Levi's. So then they, instead of destroying them, they sent them to a reseller like Ross or Marshalls, and basically there's some kind of imperceptible flaw about them. Maybe the stitching was a little bit off or something weird happened, right? And you're not going to go pay full price for those things. Now let's take the opposite end of the spectrum. Let's say you go to like a really high-end shishi boutique that is hand curated by somebody on Melrose or on Beverly, right? Something like that. Well, when you walk into those stores, like everybody looks beautiful, they're very presentable, the store is immaculate, it's clean, lots of wide open space. You walk into an expensive store when you only see like 4 racks of clothes. Because you're like, wow. Those 4 racks of clothes pay for everything that's in this store versus say like a Salvation Army where they've got wall-to-wall racks, okay? And that's a different kind of presence. So you have to look at your work kind of like that. Are you in the discount bin, or are you going to be in the ultra premium bin? And you have to start to elevate your taste level. You have to start to present your work as if it were really expensive. You're not going to be able to attract high-paying clients with low-paying looking work, okay? How do you get there? Well, you do what I just said to Vincent. You emulate the work that you admire from the companies that are doing it at the highest level. Be like them. It's a lot easier than you think, because it's hard to invent something, but when you have a target to hit, copy it. Learn from that, okay? I don't mean copy it and put it on your site, but copy it, and then when you feel like you've got the recipe on how to create that again, apply it to something that you're doing on spec. All right, let's move on. You got another super chat question or no?
Yeah. Sorry, let me re-ask this one.
All right, go ahead.
It's from Patrick Junik.
Okay,
And it's,
ask away.
I'm an in-house only creative, and I don't feel, God, make a good sentence, man, so I can read it here, dude.
Don't beat the guy down.
All right,
Chris.
sorry.
Come
I
on.
don't feel like I have a portfolio because my CMO makes me do things I cringe at. Everything has to be big and bold. How do I get my CMO to buy into good design?
You don't. You can't convince him like he can't convince you. Unfortunately, right now, the power structure is such that he is the boss or she is the boss, and she gets to make the decisions. That's the bottom line. You have to respect that. Otherwise, you're being insubordinate. You're not following the chain of command, okay? Now, there's one strategy that you can do, which is to do the work that they ask you to do and then show them an alternative. But if they're, their preference is for things that are big, bulky, and whatever, it's because they're actually working with the clients, and that's what the clients need. And after years of doing this kind of work, they've learned that if you show them anything else, they're just going to get mad at you. So a lot of people who are, say, lower in the totem pole, like they're just starting out, you have these delusions that it's all about the art. It's not. It's about making sure the clients are happy. When you have your own clients, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, but what's the solution to that? The solution is this. When you do work that you don't like, when you go home, do the work that you like, until that work is so good that other people are going to call you for that kind of work. It's a pretty basic formula. You cannot expect other people to make that leap for you. You have to be able to do the work and then close the gap. All right? That's all I got for you, dude. Now, if there's anybody else that I had said, reach out to me on Facebook, hit me up right now. Text me on Facebook Messenger. I'm going to remind you who else is left here. Eric Peterson, Anna Rowinska, and Gurpreet Danjal. Now, understand, we have an international audience, so that you guys might be in some weird time zone right now. Weird in that we're not here, okay? Desano, he says he's here. But let me get through my people first, okay? Desano, hold on. All right, here's the next question, and this one is from Eric Peterson.
Chris,
Yes, sir.
eye contact into the camera, please.
Oh, okay, you want me to look at the camera instead of the card that I'm holding?
What you're asking them.
Well, that's kind of hard to do, man. Let me hold it right here like this.
You want me to hold it for you?
No, I'm trying to put on my superhero face here. All right. Tactics for presenting. Eric Peterson says, sometimes I'm good and sometimes I'm bad. You guys ever have a problem presenting, Aaron?
Yeah, all the time.
Like all the time?
My whole life.
What happens? Why are you bad at presenting?
Because I know it's right in my head, but when it comes out, it's nothing like it.
What does it come out like?
I don't know, but it's not what I intended it to be. That's the problem. Like, I know I have the right answer, and I know what I want to say, but when it comes out, it's not at all what I wanted to say.
Why do you suspect that it doesn't come out right? Why do you suspect that? What's the reason? Do you have a hard time communicating to your mom?
Right, I know what you're getting at. It's like,
You know where I'm going with
I
this.
feel nervous and uncomfortable.
Why do you feel nervous
Because
and
I'm afraid
uncomfortable?
that they're going to judge me differently, or, they're not going to give me the chance and the benefit of the doubt to try to understand what I'm saying. They're going to take everything super literally.
I don't understand you.
All right.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. All right. I'm going to tell you some things here, okay? You guys, when you're around people that you trust, people who really love you, people who will not judge you, it could be an older brother or sister, a sibling of some sort. It could be the best friend from school. It could be your parents, your classmates, something like that. You're going to feel really comfortable around them. And the reason why you feel comfortable around them is because you don't have anything to prove to anyone. They accept you for all your ugliness, for all your crude humor, for everything, your shortcomings. They accept you. And so you feel very comfortable to be yourself. Now, when you get into a room with people that you want to impress, the people who have power over you, your boss, somebody, a potential client who has money, you're giving away all this power that you have, and you're going to start to act differently, because instead of just being you, you're going to try and put on this mask, and you're going to walk around thinking that people can see the mask, but they actually just see you right now. So here's my thing. If people don't like you for who you are, move on with your life. You have to just be able to own who you are. That doesn't mean that you come out raw and rough, but at the core of who you are, people are either going to like or not. You're not going to be able to hide that from them, and there's really no point. Okay? So the first thing is you have to get into that mindset, like, I don't need this work. Okay? I don't want to impress you. I'm not trying to prove how smart I am. I don't even have all the right answers. Oftentimes I'll go into a meeting. I'll say a few things. First of all, there's a self-awareness thing that you can just say right off the bat. And what you're going to do is you're going to just tell people, I'm really grateful for this opportunity. I've been up all night working on this deck, so I might not be that clear. And if I'm not, will you just tell me, and I'll do my best to explain it. So then there's a level of self-awareness that you're going to put out there, and that kind of disarms the room. They're like, wow, this person's so aware of who they are. They're not trying to impress us. And then you can get into the presentation. So a couple things you need to do. One, the presentation should be worked on days in advance, and you should look at it over and over again so you know your own material. It's not like you have to rely on the deck to be able to say what it is you're going to say. And if that's the case, I suspect you have too many words on the page. The tendency is words on a page are like a safety blanket, and you don't want that, because you're going to cling on to it and you're not going to let it go. Okay? So what you want to do instead is to use visuals with as few words as possible. Now, most of you guys that are watching this channel, you're visual people, so this is great. You're a designer, you're an illustrator, so tell stories visually. The cool thing about that is that you've ever played this game when you were a kid and you would stare at album art or just some random illustration that you found, and you'd make up stories about it with your friends or your brother and sister? Well, it's kind of like that. Your images are prompts for you to talk about something, and they remind you, oh yeah, on this slide, I'm going to talk about the importance of brand. And there's a story that goes along with it. So it might be a picture of somebody that you're talking about. So if you have a quote from Nelson Mandela, we'll put that there. And put just a few key words so it reminds you what to talk about. That way you won't get choked up on trying to repeat exactly the same thing again. That's a very difficult thing to do. Okay? So there's an awareness thing. There's about practicing, knowing your material really well. There is a kind of doing visual storytelling, using pictures to prompt you versus words. Those things will help you out a lot. And lastly, you got to practice. I was not always comfortable speaking in front of the camera. Some of you guys have seen the first episode. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not being falsely humble or modest here. It was not very good. So if you keep practicing, you get more comfortable doing what it is that you do. All right? So that's all I got for you. That's Eric Peterson. Eric, thank you for your question. Next question. Aaron, why don't you take one?
Okay.
Go ahead, fire at me.
Let me see.
Go on camera.
Okay, how about a lot of people have asked this question in different ways.
Bring up your energy, dude. Come on.
This is my energy, man. You know, hire
Come on,
me,
dude.
that's what you get. All right.
You get Sleepy Bear. I get Winnie the Pooh. Go ahead.
Okay, so let's say you're talking to your designer and you're talking to a client, and he likes your work, but he doesn't want to pay that much. How can you, like, jujitsu him with words into paying you more?
You can't.
There's got to be a way.
There is a way.
Well, then what is
You can't
it?
trick your way into it.
Well, no, how can you talk to him? What can you say to him, or ask him a question or a series of questions, or what way should you drive the conversation to get paid more?
All right. Look, when has somebody in real life, when has somebody been able to convince you to pay more than what you're prepared to spend? Can you tell me a time that's happened to you, Aaron?
Yeah.
Tell me, when?
Like a pair of shoes.
Well, talk me through it. Use more than just a pair of shoes.
I mean, I'm thinking like
All right.
a pair of Nikes. I'd pay more for a pair of Nikes than I would for Skechers.
Yeah, but that's a different thing altogether. You're going to pay more for Nikes versus Skechers. Now we're going to get like another camp all burned on that, because the brand makes you feel like it's worth it. That decision was already made before you walked in the door. I'm talking about like when you went in to buy like the mid-tier model, and they upsold you on something. When did that ever happen? Did you
I
guys
can't-
ever go to like Best Buy and go to buy the entry level computer or stereo or something, and a salesperson starts laying this on you and you start to feel really pressured? Okay? That usually doesn't work. It doesn't work on me. However, the opposite works. Okay? Check this out, you guys. If you go into the store and you're looking for a stereo and you don't know what you're looking for and you have, let's say, $100 to spend, all right, and you ask the sales clerk, hey, I need to buy a stereo, I've got $100 to spend, and they might ask you, tell me more about how you can use it, what room is it in, what kind of features do you need, and you start talking about this, whatever. Then he goes over to the $200 stereo. He's like, you know what, you don't need this model because this model has Wi-Fi, has Bluetooth connectivity, it can be expanded, it's got 300 more watts per channel or whatever, and sooner than later you're like, what do you mean I shouldn't buy that? Are you saying I can't afford it? Well, maybe I can afford it. And now that you pointed out all these features, maybe I want that instead. You're like, no. Don't. The model you want is this one. And it's a small one. It's a crappy one. It's $90. It fits in your budget. Now he's created a desire inside of you to think, maybe I want the bigger, better model. And he was able to articulate to you the benefits of the other model. So that's a little bit of like reverse psychology on you right there. And there's an equivalent to that. It's basically when the client comes to you, you're basically saying, you can't afford this higher end service or product that I offer. So then they almost have to prove themselves to you. So that's a strategy that does work. But really, honestly, I think if you want to get more money, you have to do work that in the market space or marketplace is perceived as being more valuable. All right? So if you design just a logo, there's a fair market value for that. But if you design a logo with an identity system, that's a little bit more money. And if you do research with that and naming, or you do messaging and then you do full service branding, that's worth a lot more because the marketplace is willing to pay more for that. So people who are out there looking for a new brand, they're more likely to have a bigger number in mind than the people who want a quick logo to slap on something, okay? So we got to get into positioning, all that kind of stuff. I hope that answered that question. I'm sure we can go really deep on that topic, but people are not calling me. My friend Gary Brees is hitting me up here. Gary, how are you, my friend? Long time no speak. I did a whole episode on you, Gary Brees. Jelvin Bass wants to talk to me. Okay, I got two more, and then I got a crazy one that we're going to end on. Okay, so we have about another 10, 15 minutes. It's getting hot in here, you guys. It must be Aaron. He's so hot. He's so hot. Okay, Anna Rowinska. I believe that's how you say your name. Anna, if you're online right now, hit me up. Okay? Hit me up. Are you online? Anna Rowinska or Gurpreet Danjal. Danjal? Something like that?
Danjal if he's Indian.
Yeah, Danjal? Ja?
Danjal, like
Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal.
It's the same old sound.
Gurpreet Danjal. Okay, whatever. I'm sure I butchered that. I apologize. So sorry. Okay. Anna, I don't see you online. Hit me up. Say hello to me on Messenger. If not, I'm going to move on. Okay, here's your question, Anna or Anna. How to convince overseas clients to work with you remotely, like remote collaboration. She's saying we currently mainly work with UK-based clients. However, the work is usually carried out remotely anyways, hence location from our perspective is not an issue. From the client's perspective, it could be. It's true. Clients feel more secure. Hold on. Clients feel more secure when they know who you are, where you operate out of, and they want to know that your team is in the building, on premises, because it gives them comfort. The bigger the engagement, the more money that they spend, the more assurance that they need to know that you're a flight risk. You're going to take the money and you go to Tahiti and see you later money, and now they're stuck. You have to remember that most people have a boss somewhere. The bosses have a boss. And so they're always worried that if they make the wrong decision, that you're going to burn them. So your job is to assure them the entire time that everything's going to be okay. Well, how can you do this? When you're working with a client in a different country, the first thing that's going to come up with is responsiveness. When we call you at 4 p.m., it's 2 a.m. your time. Will you be able to respond quickly? Well, you're going to say to them, yes, because if you hire us to do this, we will adjust our day to match yours. We will hire somebody who will be dedicated and focused as an account representative, a project manager, project coordinator, something like that, who's going to wake up when you wake up and go to sleep when you go to sleep. This is what I say usually. And I say the benefit to you is this. You'll have somebody to talk to, a live, real human being. And the cool thing is when you guys are asleep, we're just beginning our day. So we can get a lot done. So we're not sitting around waiting for feedback. This is a benefit to you. You have to be able to listen and hear what their objections are. What's their hang up? Like what gives them pause to hire you? And if you can ask that in an open and honest way, then work towards solving that. Okay? Next question. Let's go. Gurpreet. Where are you, Gurpreet? All right. Aaron, I'll give you one question. Ask me a medium level question, man. Don't give me one that's too hard.
Okay. Can you explain the symmetry of logic concept?
The symmetry of logic is this, guys. If you think A applies, then A applies elsewhere and it has to be consistent. For example, if you think it's okay to charge a client more for something than what it costs to make, you should also be okay paying somebody more for something than what it costs to make. That's the symmetry of logic, okay? Decino, don't call me yet, brother. I didn't prompt you to call me. You can't just call me anytime. All right. Does that make sense? So when have we talked about something, Aaron, where I brought up the whole symmetry of logic thing? Oh, my time is valuable. If I believe my time is valuable, then I should also believe your time is valuable, okay? And if you save me time, then I'm willing to pay you for that, okay? So most entrepreneurs, most business people find their time to be quite valuable because they can do things that most people cannot do. So if you can do something that saves them time, makes their life easier, then the value of what you do just went up. We need probably a more concrete example than that, and I'm not thinking of one. So that whoever asked that question, you need to give me an example, and then I can argue through it. Or, you know what, who asked that question? Hit me up on Facebook.
It was at the very beginning.
All right, whoever asked that question, if you're still watching, send me a message on Facebook saying, I asked that question, I want to talk to you live, and we can role play, okay? This is the whole point of us doing that, but I'm going to move on. Okay, I'm going to ask this next question here. Gurpreet Danjal asks, how do I deal with an overwhelming amount of work and client feedback? And it's not as quick as I'd like it to be. So there's a lot of questions here, you guys. I need to do an episode on teaching you guys how to ask questions. Don't ask compounded questions because there's a lot to unpack there. Ask one direct question.
What was it again? Could you
Yeah. I'm gonna read it the way he wrote it, and then I'm gonna reread it the way it should have been written, according to me. Okay. And I'm not an English major. That's why I decided to do design. Okay. Gurpreet asks, how do I deal with an overwhelming amount of work and client feedback isn't as quick as I'd like it to be? Or clients who have paid a deposit but haven't sent a brief and it's been a few months. How many questions are in here?
What was the second one? I didn't get it. The first one made sense.
Well, they've given him money, but they're not moving the project forward.
Oh.
That doesn't sound like a problem to me. That's not a problem. That's a good problem to have. If people pay you money and they're not ready to start, that's great. As long as the check's cleared, you just don't worry about it. All I would do, the second question is much easier to answer, okay? If a client gives you money to start a project, assuming it's a 50% deposit, and then they get tied up with stuff and they're stalled out on a project, all you have to do is send them a very polite email. It's like, our team is standing by. However, we're going to do some other work right now since you need time to work out whatever issues that you're working out, and we will start whenever you're ready, but we need 2 weeks notice. So when you're ready, 2 weeks out, please shoot me an email so I can move the teams around and make sure we're ready to go. All right? Now, the first question is, how do you deal with an overwhelming amount of work? That's one question. And the other question is, the client feedback isn't as quick as you'd like it to be. Now, let's deal with one thing at a time. When you're feeling overwhelmed, it's a sign to me that you didn't charge enough money for the project. Okay, we do a lot of work. We do a lot of work at Blind. And I don't feel it's overwhelming at all because they're budgeted appropriately. When I start to feel stressed out over whether or not we're doing enough, whether we are being overworked, it's because we didn't have the resources to hire more designers, or to get a new computer or a new piece of software to be able to do the job much quicker. If I don't have the money to job it out and get external resources to help me, like a modeler or somebody to track the shot or something like that, it's because I didn't budget it properly. So this is where you need to stand your ground, to know what something really costs, and to pad it to some degree, because that gives you some room to be able to bring in additional resources to help you, okay? So if you're feeling overwhelmed, I suspect you're not charging enough money. Number two, if the client feedback isn't as quickly as you want it, did you have an agreement in advance how long it should take? So what I like to do is ask my clients at the very beginning, how long would you like to have to give us feedback? Because I'm going to build it into the schedule. Now, the bigger the corporation, the longer they need, because they have to run it by lots of people, and you want them to do that, because if they give you feedback right away, it's very likely that somebody up the chain of command will make a different decision, and then you'll have to do even more work, and you don't want to do that, okay? So let's say it's 2 to 3 business days. So if I show it to you on a Monday, is it reasonable that by Thursday, you guys will give us feedback? They say yes, we'll build it into your schedule and pad it by a day so that you know. And then you can charge accordingly, because you have a team that's ready to work, but they're going to sit around for 3 days. So you need to put that in your budget, all right? A lot of this is about planning and having clear communication up front and an agreement with your client, okay? It's unrealistic for you to expect clients to work around your schedule. That's a sign of an immature business person. You don't know what you're doing just yet. I'm not saying that's you, but don't do that, okay? I got one last big one here, Aaron. You know what,
I have a
Jelvin?
few super chat questions that I'd like to.
Okay, fire away. Super chat
Okay.
me, dude.
So it's from Heyo Freeze. Heyo.
Hey, yo.
I've recently graduated from a university with mediocre back-end training, but I want to do front-end. What are some good libraries to start learning with?
I don't know. You're asking a development question. I don't know programming and that kind of stuff. I apologize. I'm not holding back information from you. I don't know where one goes to get training for front-end stuff, okay?
Well, where would you go to if you were a student to learn about designing website stuff?
I go on the internet. If I can find a resource on the internet. Okay, you're probably a pretty smart guy. You're probably smarter than I am, to be honest, because I don't understand coding at all, okay? I'm just saying, take a drink here, you guys. My throat's getting a little dry.
I mean, I don't think he knows you don't know about coding and stuff, but
Yeah,
kind of
but I
that
don't
your
know-
taste, what
No,
what
he's
to
asking
do.
front end, right? And he's a back end guy?
Isn't front end like what it looks like?
No, I think back end's all about hooking into databases, and the front end is a lot of coding for what it does look like, but you're still doing development. You're not the designer. Okay, the back end nobody
okay.
sees.
Right.
Nobody sees the back end.
No one sees.
People
yeah.
see the front end, I think. I don't even know the front end from the back end. See how dumb we are?
Okay.
don't
Yeah,
know.
we should probably stay away from that.
I'm right? Thanks, Mark. Mark's got me. Mark, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so Mark says I'm right.
I have a
So-
lot of good questions here. So
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
So front end, Mark, where would somebody go to learn front end?
Internet.
The internet. Mark said
I
the
hate it
internet,
when
but
people answer
where about on
questions
the
like
internet?
that, yeah.
Where on the internet, dude?
You go Linda, I'm sure there's lots.
Okay, he's saying Mark is saying go to Linda.
Skillshare,
maybe.
Team Treehouse.
Maybe there's a place called Code Academy. I just made that up.
That's a
You
good
can
one.
yeah, if it existed, you go to the Khan Academy. I think Khan covers lots of things like that. You can take a course at a community college,
Go
a
back
night
to
class.
school.
You can take a night class, something like that. You might also be able to do it within the company you're working at right now. If you want to do front end, just say, boss, I will learn front end. Would that be valuable to this company? Like, yeah. So can you sponsor me to go and take some courses, or can I shadow somebody who's doing that? Like, yeah. Okay, let's do that. Now, I know that doing things for the web and developing apps is a hot topic. There should be no shortage of resources, books, online training, search on the internet. That's the best answer I got for you. Sorry, you want your money back? Code Academy?
Yep.
There's
So
such
that
a thing?
exists already?
Dude, it's every once in a while, I guess, and I luck out. All right. How do you guys like the lighting setup? Do I look all right? How's my skin? Okay. Anyways, let's keep going. What's the next question?
Okay. There's so many of them.
Aaron, your skin doesn't look so good in this lighting.
Okay.
We'll have to work on your lighting next time.
Yeah, no one really cared about
Nobody
my lighting.
cares. Yours is
This thing's
this thing's
made of plastic
we don't
and
care.
crap.
We don't care.
Okay. What are your thoughts on working for exposure rather than money?
Working for exposure rather than money. Why is it mutually exclusive? Can't you work for money and get exposure? We're working on some really big projects for really big brands that pay us a ton of money, and for big bands too, and we get exposure out of that. Now, you guys, be careful about trading for exposure. When I say trading, meaning doing the work and supplementing what you should be getting paid for exposure, okay? That's the lure that people dang in front of you. You know, it's like a little carrot. It's like, go for it. Be careful about that kind of stuff, you guys. In this day and age, it's really easy to get exposure. You can do it yourself. All the platforms are open to you. Now, back in the old days when exposure came from TV, from traditional media like print, like magazines and other sources like that, when all the gatekeepers held on to the information and the kingmakers would say, you're good and you're good, award shows would do things like that. Well, today you can build up your own following, so you don't really need them at all. If you do good work, put it out there and put some effort into packaging it and making it look good, and then write a little story with it, okay? And give people a reason why this is important. Now, I'll give you an example. When you guys go to a gallery, especially a modern art gallery, a museum of some sort, and you see this swatch of paint, and it looks like somebody took 10 minutes to make it, yet you know in your heart that thing costs millions of dollars. Well, how do you know that? How do you know? How do you assume it's valuable? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. First of all, it's in a place that makes you think it's valuable. It's in a gallery. Gallery's a big, wide open space. Everything's done very tastefully. It's minimally done. Notice that in galleries, they typically don't have carpeting. It's usually like concrete floors, exposed ceilings, skylights, beautiful lighting, clean white walls. All the doors are frameless. It's a beautiful space. And then you walk up to the painting, and you're like, oh, I think I can do that. And then you look down and you read something. This is what it's called, man mid-contemplation. Mixed media on canvas. The artist was doing X, Y, Z, and you're like, wow, that's really interesting. That's an interesting reflection on society. You start putting meaning to it because the words tell you there's a story involved. You get to know about the artist. This is what creates the value, okay? We've already done a video on this about tell stories. This is what you need to do. Next question. And then I got to end it on this whopper of one.
Some guy said I need a fill light, a key light, and my lighting sucks.
Your lighting does suck,
okay,
and that's all right.
That's fine.
We'll keep them in the dark.
Never mind.
All right. I got an iPhone. Should I use my iPhone to light you?
I don't think that's going to help.
That's not going to help. All right. Let's keep going.
Okay, this is a good one. How do I convince a client to rebrand when they only want to rebuild a website? Their current mark is really bad. The website will suffer from this fact. Any tips? So basically, how do you turn the conversation from I need a website into...
To what?
Well, into bigger things, a rebrand.
Okay, like a bigger rebrand? Okay. There's a couple of things. If you're capable of doing a rebrand project, which I suspect a lot of you guys are not ready for that, but why are you laughing?
Because, yeah.
It's true, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I'm not going to rebrand your site.
It's like, woof.
You don't even know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest about it, okay? But assuming that you actually know what you're doing, you know how to write copy, you know how to design all the different touch points, you know how to design a better user experience for the customer, you're ready. And now you're having a hard time. Okay, that's fine. I've been here myself, and I'm still going through this process right now. Full transparency here, okay? So somebody comes to you and says, we want you to design the website. The way that you do it, and we've talked about this, a very simple concept, you embrace and then you pivot. You embrace and you pivot, okay? So first you're going to say, thank you very much for thinking about me, for doing your website. I would love nothing more than to do an amazing job for you. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, okay? Now, before we go into the website, I find that if I ask my clients a few questions and learn a little bit more about what's motivating this request, usually I find something much deeper that's driving this that might help you achieve your goal better than building a website. Can we explore this together? Maybe it'll take about 30 minutes. And they say, well, okay, that sounds interesting. Let's go there. Then you go into full diagnostic mode and you ask like really smart questions. On a different episode, we can talk about what those questions might be. You see what I'm doing there?
That was a good answer, man.
Thanks, Aaron. It's almost like I say this all the time. Okay. All right. Is the super chat question or no?
No, but it's good.
No. Is it okay? We're gonna. I have to tell the story first.
Okay.
Oh wait, I have more questions to ask here. All right, hold on, you guys. Let me get these two questions first. See, there's two questions here. This is like an animation from Keynote. All right, the question is, coming up. Lucky Chen, must be very lucky, his name is Lucky, spelled with 2 I's. Lucky says, how do you get noticed? Oh, I already asked that question. How do you qualify clients? I already asked these questions. What am I thinking? All right, that's it. I'm going to go to the big one, the mother trucker. This is the mother trucker question, okay? There's a guy, Chris Jones. He's been hating on me, and he's been hating on the video that we produce, Aaron. You know which video we produce? It's our top viewed episode ever. The episode on how to price based on value, or why charging hourly punishes people who are really efficient and experienced, okay? So here, Chris goes on a rant, so I'm going to try to respond to Chris. But first and foremost, I'm going to say this, you guys. I'm not up here telling you I have all the answers in the world, or maybe I am. But these are things that have worked for me, and I'm going through a process right now, and I'm sharing it with you in real time. So if you check in with me in a year from now, 2 years from now, my story may change, as it has. If you watch some of our older episodes, you'll see, like when Jose asked me about marketing and sales, I didn't know anything because we had sales rep that sold us. It wasn't until I actually did it that it occurred to me what he was talking about. Okay, so I say that first of all. And realize this, you guys. I'm doing this because I want to help people. I see people struggling in the creative space, and I want to help people. So if you don't think what I'm saying is helpful, that's totally cool. God bless you. Do what you do and be merry, be well, be whatever, be fruitful. Do what you got to do. I really don't understand all the people who want to come out, and there's not a lot, but they do get under my skin, and I should be a bigger person and not even respond. You know, don't feed the trolls kind of thing, but I like to get in there. You guys know me. I get blood in my mouth, and I want to fight. All right, so here's the question. Or it's less of a question and more of his retort to why he thinks I'm stupid. All right, so here we go. Chris Jones. Chris Jones, if you're on the line, dude, I don't know why you'd be paying attention to me because you're so angry anyways, but Chris Jones says this, okay? He goes, well, he assumes I'm a millennial. So first I say thank you because I'm not a millennial, and I would love to be mistaken as a millennial. I'm much older than you think, okay? So he goes, well, you must be under 40, so you're a millennial. Then he goes on to disparage millennials. You know, people who have an unrealistic or disproportionate world perspective. And here he goes on to try to lecture me now why value-based pricing doesn't work. He goes, first, you cannot ask someone to pay you an undisclosed amount that you will inform them of at some point in the future based on your impression of the work you've accomplished. What? I never said that. And he says, this is because the value of the product is determined by the amount someone is willing to pay for. 100% agree. You're only worth what you can convince somebody to pay you. Totally true. All right? And he goes on to tell me, like, I don't know. Not what you're willing to sell it for. He says, thus your opinion doesn't matter. This guy's like spitting fire at me, Aaron. Second, he says. Second. You guys on the internet get fired up. I want you to get ready, okay? So hold off on any more comments or questions. Hear me out. There's 4 points he makes, and then let's have a discussion about it. And anybody that wants to talk to me live on camera, get on Facebook Messenger right now, and I'll prompt you, and we're only going to talk about this, okay? He goes, second, an hourly rate is the equivalent numerical indicator of your fair market value, fair market time value, okay? Does that make sense? So he assumes no matter what price you charge, if you charge $30,000, all you have to do is divide the hours by the rate.
Divide by the hours.
By the hours, right. So if you work on something that's $10,000 bucks, and you spend 1,000 hours on it, your hourly rate is $10, okay? But there's an interesting flaw in that statement, okay? And he has 2 more points. Next, clients need to know what to expect billing-wise. Usually, in all caps, people are on the tight budget and need to find people that can accomplish tasks for a specific amount of money or less. True. Partially true. Okay? And last point, he says, or maybe there's a couple more points, you do actually get a bonus for being expedient and exceptional. And the bonus is it's called repeat business. What? Right? Rape you very much? Oh, okay. Let's keep going here. I got Mark laughing outside. Mark Contreras, not Mark Cassie. Different Mark, same Filipino, but different Mark. Okay. He says, you expect payment based on the outcome of X? That's just you wanting equity in the work you've done. Duh. Don't you? If you want an equity stake in that person's company, and thus the long-term value of your work, They will probably pay you with stock if you ask. Problem solved. Well, I don't know what we're arguing about anymore. It's almost like he's taking my stance and then he's arguing with me because he's really upset. Now, he and I have exchanged multiple responses on Facebook. So now, you guys, I'm going to open up the floodgates. Go ahead and rein in your comments. Aaron, let's clear out the thing. Let's look at anybody that wants to respond and jump in here. What I don't understand is this, you guys. If you're doing something and it's working really well for you right now, God bless you, just keep doing it. Don't listen to some jerk-off, bald-headed Asian guy who's talking to you on YouTube. Forget about it. Now, are all those people gone? Just leave. Just leave. Okay? Don't you have better things to do to earn all that value that you're not creating? Don't worry about it. Now, did all those people go? The rest of you guys lean in a little bit. Come on in. Okay? I want to talk to you. Now, chances are you are hurting a little bit. You're hurting because the internet has created a crazy open marketplace to take advantage of you because they realize the workforce is many and the need are few. Okay, so then they can pay the lowest dollar amount for the work that you do. Now, assuming, and this is a big assumption, okay? Assuming that the work you do is actually really good, that you have some kind of training, whether you're self-taught or you went to school. And we talked about this before. A lot of people think self-taught means I got no training. It just means you got training, but it just wasn't in school. You like picked up a book and you went cover to cover. You went to a lecture somewhere. You just did it in a non-traditional way, and that's totally cool. Okay? Assuming that you're good, what can you do to change the dynamic of how you see yourself and how you present to your client that might make you more valuable? That's what I'm here for. I'm here to try and teach you some of the things that have worked for me and the people that I've coached. Now, you'll notice, you guys, some people start dropping crazy amounts of money in the super chat function. Some people are starting to just donate and give us money. They give us time, they give us assistance, they give us anything because we've been able to help them double their rate, quadruple their rate. We're helping them to get into discussions where they're looking at six-figure jobs and not, low double-digit jobs. We're helping people, and it's working for those people who want to try. So all I'm going to tell you right now is, what's it cost you to try a new concept? Now, I know for a lot of people, you want to believe it's not going to work. The only thing that I have to say to that is, you keep doing what you're doing until you get tired of it. And when you're ready, come find us. Come back. I'll be here. I'll be here for you. I really will. Okay? Now, let's respond to each and every one of these comments now. Okay? Aaron, do you have anything you want to say?
People are just hating on that guy, Chris Jones.
Chris Jones, my new best friend.
Who is this guy?
I'll go find him
What
on
does he do?
Facebook. If you guys go look up on our Facebook page on the future, on the video about why charging hourly punishes efficiency, he's hating and he's raining firebombs, man. He's crazy. He's crazy. And I even tell him, this idea of value-based pricing, it's not even my idea. If you type in value-based pricing, you're going to get a ton of people who talk about it, who explain it very thoroughly. I just grabbed onto it and tried to explain it my way and to see if I can make it work, okay? That's all. It's not even my concept. It's not. All right, so here we go. All right? He says you cannot ask somebody to pay for something that's undisclosed amount. We didn't say that. He thinks like we're some kind of samurai ninja, some kind of superpower person who can mentally control people. Nobody agrees to do a project unless they know what they're in for. They would be insane. So what we're doing is we're negotiating up front about what we think the potential value of the project is. He goes on to actually dispute his own thing. He says that your hourly rate is whatever the fair market value is. So that means your hourly rate changes. And I am in agreement there. Bigger clients can afford more. They have greater risk. They have greater liability. And they need this thing to last a lot longer. And they're going to spend a lot more money to produce this thing, the logo, the design that you create. And think about it like this. Let's say you design a case for a phone that maybe there's 1,000 phones out there in the world. So they're never going to print 1,000. They'll print a few. But then you design a case for a phone like the iPhone, and there's hundreds of millions of iPhones out there. So if you design something, the manufacturer might try to do a couple 100,000 pieces. So it costs them a lot of money, and they're taking a lot of risk to do this. Versus the other phone case manufacturer, and they're only sell $1,200. Their risk is a lot lower. So the industrial designer that they hire, they're going to hire two different kinds of people, I believe. Okay? Because they have different risk and different needs. One could argue there is probably no difference or little difference between one phone cover to the next. That could be totally true. Probably not, but could be true. So the person who has more to risk is willing to spend more, and they want to hire somebody who's got a big reputation, who's got a lot of experience, and that person will charge them accordingly. Okay? Now that same person, let's say it's Johnny Ivy, a buddy of his might ask, Johnny, can you help me design a little accessory for something I'm doing? He's like, yeah, I'll do that, and I'll only charge you X. Because first of all, A, it's his friend. B, he knows that person, in terms of the total lifetime value, hopefully I'm using that right, Mark, the total lifetime value of his design is very low. So he's going to charge differently. This is all it's talking about, that there's elasticity in terms of the pricing, that you don't go in with a fixed price. The bigger the client, the greater the risk, therefore, the larger the sum should be. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. I don't. He's like saying like I'm the devil or something. I don't get it. Okay? Okay, so we talked about the fair market value. Yeah, it should be elastic. And I'm not suggesting that you go in and say, well, I will charge you some amount of money after I finish. Well, who does that? It's bad for you. It's bad for them. You're exposing yourself to a lot of risk. I am not saying that. Aaron, am I saying that? Who is saying that? I'm not saying anything like that. Okay? Yeah, they do need to know what you're building. Of course. Now, here's his other statement in his third to last point, where he's like, people are usually on a tight budget. They need to find people who can do it basically for that amount or less.
What
right?
amount?
For whatever amount that they can afford or less. So if you go in and you want to buy a new watch and you have $500 to spend, you don't want to spend $600. You want to spend $500 or less. Okay? So I'm going to go with this, first of all, that people are usually on a tight budget. Says who? Says who? Some people can spend a lot of money, and some people can spend a little bit of money. I don't treat everybody the same. I think that's called stereotyping. Isn't it, Aaron? You know me. I don't like to stereotype.
It sounds like you and him are have different worlds of the people, clients you interact
yeah,
with.
like and he's angry. He's angry about something.
I feel like because his clients, he doesn't see them as like this huge person that you can kind of take all their money.
I'm not trying to take all their money.
He sees them as like he wants to help them and doesn't want to charge them too much.
I love that. You know what my
like,
response to that is? For every kind of client, there's a designer out there for you. Okay? So all the clients that want to pay 6 figures, big budget projects that are on the global stage and don't mind paying that, please call me. For every other client that's like scraping by, who can't afford a lot, they're on a really tight budget, please hire Chris Jones because I can't do those projects. The world is happy and everybody in between works. It totally works. So why he's got to be angry at me? I'm not angry at you. Go live your life.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
You seem really amped up with this guy. You gave him a lot of your attention and your thought to answer these questions.
I tried
Why?
multiple ranges because I thought he was at least being, how should we say this? He wasn't just dropping firebombs. I mean, he was trying to articulate a point of view, and I'm trying to understand that point of view. Sometimes I get a little crazy in my head. I'm thinking, maybe I can help point out the flaw and the symmetry of his own logic. But
that's your main tool. That's
my main tool.
That's your main
tool. And I try
tool.
to do that. And I realize some people cannot be helped, do not want to be helped, and they just want to complain. They want to be angry, and that's okay. And I've decided now. I said, the last comment I said is hashtag you win, exclamation point. I'm not going to argue with you. You do whatever you need to do. All right?
I just want to let you know, Chris, so many people are donating with the super chat, and they're not asking a question. They're just saying that this is great. They really appreciate everything you do, and it's just getting a lot of love.
There's a specific one from Jin Ye for $50.
Woo! Jin Ye.
I thought we agreed not to say the number here.
Well, they can't hear him anyways, but no.
Okay.
Jin Ye, thank you very much. And thank you for everybody who supports this channel in whatever you do. And I'm not necessarily looking for money from you. But ultimately, if you do make money, don't forget about your Uncle Chris, okay? Don't forget about me. I got kids, it's a whole college thing. It's expensive, right? Anyways, I'm not looking for that. If you comment, if you like, if you help to spread the word, when I ask you guys to go do something like follow this person or check this thing out, and if you actually do that, that would mean the world to me. And some of you guys who are a little bit better off in your life and you can afford whatever it is, go buy a product. We'll teach you how to make more money. It's not a magic box. I want to be clear about that. Some people buy our products and think it's a magic like leprechaun that jumps out and then all of a sudden money starts raining out of your butt. It doesn't happen like that. Aaron, does it rain out of your butt?
No.
No. But I can teach you things to help you change your mindset so that you can go out there and feel confident in what you do, and you have the tools and the language to go and do battle every single day, either against your competitors or to have a more informed conversation with your clients so you don't walk in there feeling entitled, or you're not walking in there fearful or feeling needy, all those kinds of things, okay? Let me wrap up this thing with Chris Jones. I have spent a lot of time responding to him, but it's not really gone anywhere. If anything, it's devolved into nothingness, okay? What else is here? So there are clients that can afford lots of different price points. It's not your duty, guys, listen to me. It's not your duty to negotiate against yourself. Don't go into the room saying they can only afford so much. Like, who does that? You know, you don't walk into a restaurant and they look at you like, oh, you know, we're going to give you like the prime rib and maybe we'll do it for $12. Nobody does that. Assume everybody can afford you. Assume everybody has money to spend on their marketing endeavors, that they want to improve their products. They want to build a better site because it doesn't reflect the value of the brand that they see inside. Designers are good at doing that kind of stuff. Assume that. And then clarify the assumption. Prove the assumption by saying, do you have between $20,000 to $40,000 to do a site rebrand or relaunch, reskin? Do you have that? No? Okay. You know what? You don't have that? Okay. You only have $2,000. You know what? I know a guy you can call. His name is Chris Jones. Hire Chris Jones. He can do it. He likes to work with clients who don't have any money. Okay. I'm being a jack off right there. I'm being a jerk.
Yeah, maybe we should yank out the air here.
I'm gonna pull that back in. Sorry. All right. That's it.
We have are we done?
No, we're not done. I'm gonna drink beverage. Go ahead. Woo! Oh my God, it's an hour and a half already.
I just want to keep asking the questions people.
How many
have been
people
asking.
we got watching on Facebook and YouTube, Aaron?
Looks like almost 300 on YouTube.
300 on YouTube. That's a nice number.
And on Facebook, it's hard to tell.
100? Yeah, that sounds so good. Facebook, you guys, come on.
Well, because the Facebook had some issues with the internet was slow, so I told them to come over to YouTube.
Oh, okay. You told them that? All right.
I don't know if that
okay.
did anything.
You know, what we can do is this. Ask me a few more questions, and I'll do a few non-business questions. If you guys want to ask me something stupid and personal and wacky, I will be happy to answer it, okay? We'll do it rapid fire style. So you guys, I want to ask some weird questions, things you want to know about me, I'm happy to share with you, I think. So get those questions ready. I'll prompt you when to ask the personal questions, okay? But right now, Aaron's going to hit me up with 2 more questions, and then I think I'm done. Go ahead, Aaron. Question number 1.
Okay, here's one. It's about the fonts you make for your clients.
Okay, what about it?
So do you ever create specific fonts for your clients, for your blind clients?
Blind clients?
And if so, do you sell them to only that client, or do you kind of reuse them?
Those are good questions. Okay. 1, we've never designed a font to use for our client. Never done it. Never been asked. I know designers who do. They're really good at designing typefaces, and they make a good amount of money. I think what they do is they license the name of that font or that thing to that client for that usage. And the more ownership somebody wants to have, if they want to have an exclusive license, you have to charge a lot of money. Now, I would suggest that you talk to an attorney if this is what you're doing, because they'll negotiate much better for you than you would do for yourself. Now, here's another case in point when the value of what you do is more than the hours that you put in. Okay? Like illustrators, they license their work to you for a very specific application. Photographers do the same thing. They'll ask you, like, what's the media by? What's the usage? What countries is it going to be in? And then they charge you a different price. Same photograph, right? Same amount of effort, same finger clicking, but depending on how many people are going to see it and how long they want, if they want an exclusive, if they wanted to use an all media for the web, for radio, print, TV, whatever it is they want to use. Not radio, doesn't make any sense, but then they're going to charge a lot more. And that's going to boggle Chris Jones' mind, okay? That's one more stab at Chris, well, whatever. Okay, so if you're going to do that, negotiate something. If it's exclusive, charge a lot more. And what I would do is try not to give up the rights, the intellectual property to the work that you do. You can say, okay, I would design you a custom font or a typeface font, okay? And we'll charge you, I don't know what the going rate is. Let's say it's $20,000. And you can use this exclusively for a period of 1 year. And you can use it for this many hits on a website. Beyond that, we're going to charge you more per hit. So if you're going above 1 million to 2 million hits a month, then you're going to charge a different price bracket. and you can do some research on font licensing from different houses, foundries, or for web usage, and just copy their model. It should work for you too. And so once that year expires, you can put that same typeface out on the market. I would change the name. So maybe that name is tied to their company, right? And that's my best guess at it. I know there's some people that I could call. I know there's some people I can call and ask about fonts specifically, but that's not my area of expertise, okay? But don't sell yourself short. Don't negotiate against yourself, and try to retain the intellectual property of what you do, especially if it's something utilitarian that could be reused for something else. That's it for that. Next question.
So we're getting a lot of people are, just to let you know here, that
Okay, go
people
ahead.
are really interested in proposals.
Okay.
They
Well,
love to
propose
see
to me then.
examples of proposals.
Get on your
I know
knee.
you can't do that right now.
Get on your knee and propose.
You
No?
know what I'm talking about, man.
No. Put a ring on it.
Uh,
No? Okay. I know what you're talking about. On a different episode, we'll talk about proposals.
Yeah, different one.
And we'll go deep into that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get on my deck and show you a keynote and talk about it, because it's weird for me, floating head, to be talking about proposals in front of you guys, okay? I want to let you guys know something, though. I'm going to be working with lynda.com on an exclusive piece of content, and that'll probably be available first quarter next year. It's all about the business of design, okay? I think they're going to be 15 videos, 5 minutes each, and it's going to be really cool. It's going to be like this format, except for it's going to be something like this. So I got a request for an estimate. Now what? And then I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes talking to you about how to put together an estimate properly. It'll be those kind of questions. Or, hey, I'm considering an internship. Should I do it? Well, here's the pros and cons. Here's what to look out for, because not all internships are created equally. Okay? Next question.
Now you reminded me. Someone asked about the summer internship here.
Oh, okay.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we'll talk about the summer internship. We kind of got really busy, you guys. We were hiring designers. We were like shipping projects. So we kind of dropped the ball on our normal recruiting for summer interns. And so probably all the good interns have run out into the world and gotten a job already. But maybe some of you guys still want to intern for us. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Maybe you didn't get the one that you wanted. We're here. I believe the information is available on blind.com, and somewhere on the site should be an internship thing, and you get all the details. So let me answer a few questions. One, are our internships paid? The answer is most definitely yes. We pay our interns $10 an hour to work for us for 40 hours a week. It's a full-time internship. They work the best for us, okay? And so you're going to get paid $400 a week, and we treat you like a temporary employee. If you're sick or there's a holiday, you still get paid. We try to treat you fairly that way. What kind of things will you be working on? You'll be working on real projects for us, just like everybody else. So if that scares you, don't apply, okay? We're not going to have you go get coffee. You're not washing anybody's car. You're not running anybody's errands, I don't think. But that's never happened, okay? And we're looking for all kinds of interns. And now that we have the company of the future, we need different kinds of people. So if you have a marketing background, maybe you're really great with social media, something else, you can come and work for us. And you can enter the kingdom, if you will. All right? Here's the next question you're going to ask is it available to anybody, anywhere? And the answer is, heck yes.
Remote?
Hold on. If you're from another country and you can get a visa to work here, we're happy to work with you. That's the only thing that we require, that you have permission to work in this country, okay? We've worked with people from all over the world, from Germany, from the UK. We've worked with somebody from India, parts of Asia. You know, we work with anybody. If you're talented, if you have the right attitude, we'd love to work with you, okay? And we're not looking just for creative visual people. If you're a good writer, we'd like to work with you. Now, if you want to work remotely, that's a lot more challenging, because it means that we just have to manage more. So I would consider it if you're really, 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 really good, all right? We'll work with you remotely, okay? But if you're working remote, you're really just working for us, to be honest, and you're not really going to learn. Yeah, I'll give you feedback. The creative directors here will give you feedback, but it's not the same as being elbow to elbow with other people from different disciplines, from different cultures and ethnicities, doing different things, and you can look over your shoulders like, how did you do that? What are you using over there? Can I look at your file? And that's what happens here. That's the beauty of internships. You're supposed to learn. You're supposed to grow. That's why you're doing it for less than what you would normally get when you're in the real world, okay? Another question is, there's no age limit on an internship. There is no requirement that you're in school or you're out of school or whatever term you are in school. It doesn't matter to us. You saying like that's a good one? Or
We're good on the. I feel like we've covered the internship.
All right, guys, I want to wrap it up. Now I'm going to prompt you. If you want to ask any like personal weird questions, like whatever, I don't know what's in your sick mind. If you want to ask it, I'm going to answer it, okay? but really short, concise questions. One thought per question. Fire away. Aaron, what do we got?
So I got some here. Here it is. Tips for finding your own design style.
Style schmile. I hate style. Move on. You should be able to do all kinds of styles, you guys. Next.
Oh man, just a lot of
garbage.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Come on,
here.
guys, clean it up.
I mean,
Ask
I'm gonna
really
ask,
great questions. Come on.
Ask good questions.
I'm gonna do a Captain Morgan here. Oh man, my legs are
It feels good to put your one leg up on something.
Yeah, tell me about it. I've been standing here and like all splayed out. I'm tired.
Okay, here's a good one. Could you
Check
touch
this
on the topic of directive meetings to engage the client in the process and vision of the work you are doing for them?
What? Sorry, I was goofing around. I couldn't hear you.
Could you touch on the topic of directive meetings?
Directive meetings? That's not a light question. No more business questions.
No
My
more.
brain
These are
hurts.
old ones, so.
No, I said personal, weird, goofy questions. Come on.
I got one.
All right, Mark, fire away.
What is clean living?
What is clean living? I love this. See, that's a good question. Clean living to me. Drink a gallon of water. Don't smoke. Don't do drugs. Don't drink alcohol. Exercise regularly. Be good to people. Don't swear.
How old are you?
I'm old enough. See, I like that. That's easy.
What shampoo do you use?
I use soap. I use this a bar of soap because I get a nice little lather on my head.
Someone's asking, why are you bald?
Genetics. And I think bald people are smarter. Next. Why is The Rock bald? Well, go on. See, I like these. These are goofy and weird. And you're all out. You're all spent. What else is there? Clean
First
living.
thing you do in the morning.
First thing I do in the morning is I wake up and I think about what I want to think about. So I think about, like, what did I do yesterday? Are there any ideas? Because I use this form of thinking and working while I'm sleeping, okay? Usually before I go to sleep, I fill my brain up with stuff that I need to solve, and then I go to sleep. I wake up in the morning refreshed with answers, and that's the most amazing feeling in the world. And I have a notebook, and this is something, a notebook right on my nightstand, and I get up and I write down whatever I need so that I don't have to remember it anymore. And this is something that I've developed since going to college back in my teens or early 20s, and it's worked out for me ever since. I'm using the power of my unconscious or subconscious mind to solve problems, and it's amazing. Okay. Then after that, I spent about 10 minutes doing that. Then after that, I get on my phone and I'm going through the social media. I'm checking. Look, what are you saying? Oh, that's stupid. Come on, let me respond to that. Oh, I like that. Oh, you're too kind. That's what I'm doing.
Well, what's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is the lack of growth. Like when I look back on my life, even a year ago, I don't want to see that I'm the same person. That scares me the most. It means I haven't grown. Growth is so important to me. I want to learn. I want to grow in every single way. I want to be challenged. I want to see new things. I want to be experienced with life. Aaron, is there a stupid question?
It's just funny, yeah.
Okay, go ahead, ask it.
Have you ever thought about wanting to sleep with one of your clients during a meeting?
Next question.
Next
Is this thing live? Next question.
There's
Best moment of your life.
The best moment of my life? I don't like the best and worst moments questions, but I've had many great moments in my life. I think getting married, having children, hitting certain goals, starting the future, having conversations with you, these things are wonderful to me. I'm usually filled with joy every single day. It's going to take a lot to rain on my parade, so that's what keeps me going, okay? I don't get a lot of sleep every night, you guys. I get about 5 to 6 hours of sleep every single night, and I'm just full of energy, and I'm ready to go, okay? Now, you guys know that I started the company in 1995. You could do the math and figure it out. So I've been in business now, running this company for 22 years. 22 years. That's older than a lot of you guys that are watching this channel. So how am I still doing it? How am I so fired up? How is it that I meet younger people who just want to do like, oh, 6 hours here, 2 hours there. That's all they want to do. They haven't found their calling yet. So when you find your life's work, your purpose, your mission, your joy, your love, you will be filled with energy. And that's what I want for you.
What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, one of my favorite movies is Miller's Crossing, directed by the Coen brothers. It's an amazing piece of storytelling. Okay, it's with Gabrielle Byrne. Look it up, Miller's Crossing. It's super complicated. It's hard for me to follow all the characters. One of my other favorite movies, two of them, they're science fiction. One is Blade Runner. Of course, Blade Runner has to make the list. And the other movie is The Matrix, Part 1, only Part 1, mind-blowing, just so far ahead of its time. And it was a genre mashup that just tickled me. It touched all the good parts, right? It had kung fu stuff, it had anime and manga in it, it had action sequences from Hollywood, had sci-fi, had trippy concepts. It was awesome. And they worked with a lot of comic book artists that I grew up loving. Next question.
What's your favorite deliverable?
Aaron, you got to speak to the mic. Go ahead.
What's your favorite deliverable?
I don't have a favorite deliverable.
Like your favorite job when you get a new client job, you're like, oh, I love that.
I love getting paid. If that's a deliverable, whatever I can do where the clients are really happy with the work that I do and the work that we do, and we've solved the real problem, maybe something they didn't even expect, that makes me really happy.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you had hair, what hairstyle would you have?
I would have a faux hawk. I would have a hair that would be like this, you know, like combed in together and just a little spiky. That's what I would have. Short on the side. I need to get a wig with like a mohawk. That's what I need. Somebody send me a high-end mohawk. I'll wear it.
That's kind of too.
What kind of car do you have?
What kind of car do I have? I drive a Mini Cooper, you guys, and it's about 10 years old. The thing is, I just sold it yesterday. I have a brand new car now. It is a Volvo XC90 hybrid. So I need the space because I've got 2 kids and a wife, and sometimes my parents come by and stay the night. And now I need something that can pack more people. But you guys are going to start to see more content produced from the car. Aaron, myself, Mark, we've been talking about mounting cameras because we have some of the coolest, craziest, in-depth, soul-searching conversations inside the car. We rush back to the studio and like, let's try and recreate it, and then it's gone, totally gone. So it's kind of like car karaoke, but it's like car like insight and what else, and coaching and philosophy. It'll be something like that. Design church in the car, something like that. Okay, let's finish with one last question and I'm out like the gout.
Okay. What's the biggest mistake you ever made?
I don't know. There's a lot of them. There's a whole episode that we did with a pro group where I outlined the 8 biggest mistakes that I can remember, and I don't remember right now. So if you want to know those stories, I hate to say this, you should join the pro group. A lot of people are coming from YouTube and joining the pro group, and we record a new episode and do a live webinar where you can talk to me and we answer questions, and I do keynote decks and that kind of stuff. But that's behind the pro group. Sorry. That's probably a lame way to end this.
Yeah, people are like tuning in and being like, what the hell? I thought this was about design.
Well, that's what you get, Johnny come lately. There was a whole business stuff, you know, and now I'm like, we can get goofy,
Yeah.
right? Any other questions? Let's end it on a goofy, weird one, besides the
goofy,
sex
weird
with
one.
clients.
That one was good. Favorite joke?
I don't have one.
You don't like to laugh.
I hate to laugh. Gives me wrinkles. Yeah? What else, dude? That's it. That's it, you guys. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for tuning in for a super long extended AMA. We got started late. I apologize for that, but we're getting this gear set up, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
we're
really
good.
good. And I just want to let you guys know, a lot of people have been noticing the lighting change in the setup, and it's looking really good, right? We're going to release an episode on how to set up this exact lighting setup up there, down here. There's a light there, and there's a mic here that you guys can't see. And we're going to release that really soon. As soon as we get off this, Aaron's going to finish editing that, and we're going to get that out, okay? Guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Chris, that's Aaron, and that's Mark in the other room. Thanks for tuning in. Be well. Hate less. See you guys later. Bye.